is that every year we have more and more students coming to our classrooms struggling with executive functioning difficulties. Some are identified and diagnosed, some are not. Some are on medications, some are not. Some are on medications that are effective for them, some are on medications that have no effect at all. And some of those same children are in classrooms where teachers don't have understanding, proper training, or buy-in that this is even. So how can we begin to effectively respond to this information as educators in order to do what's best for kids, even though we do not have control over many of the factors that are involved? There are some things that we can do to produce a more positive outcome, and I believe it starts with adult comprehension. Getting them better understanding among the caretakers, and then, more importantly, having the caretakers pass that information on to kids in modified ways so that children can start to understand how ADHD affects their lives. My wife and I have put together a little 2-minute video clip that we feel is a powerful illustration. It has helped our son immensely in his gaining understanding of how ADHD. If my son is sitting here and he's not trying to jot down and externalize, this is kind of how it can work. Teacher just gets done giving those directions, and there's my son, and okay, he says to himself, all right, the name, was it right, left corner, I can't remember, looks up, there's the window of the classroom, there goes a hawk by the window. Wow, that's a cool hawk, man. That is one cool bird. I love birds. They're kind of funny, though, when they flap their wings like that, almost kind of like they're doing jumping jacks in the sky. Yeah, I'm pretty good at PE class. They said I was great at jumping. I feel like doing some jumping jacks right now. I got to get up. I feel like jumping, doing some And that's just kind of how it works. Easily distractible. The thoughts are there. The skill, the knowledge is there, but the thoughts start coming and going and spinning and fading, and it's hard to take the thought that you need to start and fading, and it's hard to take the thought that you need to start the task, which was name on the top right-hand corner, and it was there until he saw the window. But if it's written down while the teacher's giving those instructions, hopefully 3 or less at a time, if the teacher wants to, make sure there's success here. If it's top right-hand corner and my son's immediately writing it as teacher says it, and my teacher is working with him and pointing and making sure he's writing it down, name, top right-hand corner, number 2, open up to 127, write that down. And number 3, you're doing 1 through 30, odd number only. Got that? There's your 3. It's all preset. My boy is right up there with good proximity. He's got his little jot list on his paper, so now he knows how to start that task. He knows what's expected because he's got his little list. It's externalized in the moment, so when those window distractions and the hawks come through that brain, he's got a locked and loaded list he can come back to without having to disrupt, without having to distract, without having to bother the person next to him, without having to ask the teacher 5 more times, and all those setups towards conflict and chaos. This is, in my opinion, as an educator and as a dad, in my opinion, one of the most difficult part of ADHD is its hiddenness. It hides, it's misperceived, because there is no visual or audio reminder constantly there to remind the caretaker or the wife or the husband or the friend that there's a 24/7 disability taking place. The students, the kids, the children diagnosed, they appear, they sound like kids without ADHD. And therefore, for the caretaker, it's really, really easy to kind of slip on into this trap with them. You don't sound like a kid without you don't sound like a kid with a disability. You don't really look like a kid with a disability. There's no wheelchair to remind me. There's no facial, kind of like a Down syndrome child. There's nothing there. There's no robotic speech pattern like a kid with autism. There's nothing there to remind us, a lot of times anyways, that this child has a 24/7 disability going on. And remember what I said earlier, 70% of them have another overlapping condition like a